Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
With a Big Family Homestead, and I am excited tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We have got some sweet good news jams. Oh yeah.
Sweet good news jams,
Giggity giggity. I don't even know what that means. I think it's on a cartoon.
I was going to say, isn't it from a movie or something?
I don't know. Some friends of ours used to say it in Ohio, and I just thought it was funny.
Who?
I don't know if I want to say their names out loud because
Okay.
you never know, they might not want to be associated with us anymore. Things were different back there.
Oh, well.
Good evening.
Howdy, everybody.
All right, folks. You ready to have a good time? Because I am sick of the bad news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of all the gobbledygook. Mm-hmm. But I will ask you, thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, because you know what happens is it actually changes the YouTube algorithm, and then it invites other people to come.
Yep.
So that said, while we're waiting to, excuse me, that was a close one. That would have been a very bad radio guy kind of thing to do, just to be like, bomb, burp right into the microphone. I caught it in time. It was close.
What happens when you eat chocolate almonds before we go live?
I haven't had anything since.
No, I know, since lunch.
And that's probably all I'll eat. Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about a recap of stuff that's happened this week while we wait for more folks to get here. Why don't you start with that one?
The hay is done.
Ta-ta-ta.
We have hay. We have 28 new bales of hay, not counting the 7 that are left from this past delivery that we got. Well, a few months ago, we got some hay delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, 28 bales that are all plastic wrapped.
Yep.
And they should last a couple years.
Well, and the guys we got them from, they were great.
Yeah,
they were
nice
really
family.
great, really nice. Mm-hmm. And I would show you some video, but I just ran out of time. But they were, because our tractor, there's not enough counterweight, and his bales are very heavy. There's 1,600 pounds.
Yeah.
And so the tractor would go like this. Mm-hmm. And so they jumped on the back
to hold it down
and used their bodies as ballast.
Well, and we watched them actually
turning the tractor.
Turn the tractor.
Yeah.
So the one guy's in there
They're
inside
pushing
the tractor, and the other guys are just kind of pushing the back end around so that it will be easier to steer and not flip over, which I was very grateful for.
I'm very glad they didn't destroy the tractor.
Gosh.
I did, though. I confessed my sin. I was moving the bales around, and I did a very stupid thing, which you should not do. You should not be tooling around with the tractor door open. And there was a bale, and I was backing up, and I wasn't paying attention. And fortunately, it just made this really loud pop. Bam! And
like what the van did a couple years ago?
Yeah, well, that wasn't my fault.
No, that wasn't your fault. It was the wind.
This was my fault. So the tractor, there's a hydraulic, little piston
that
helps open the door up, and it Fortunately, the only thing that broke was just the little plastic thing on there. It could have been the whole dang door, the glass door.
That would not be good.
Yeah, so we were lucky, or I was lucky.
Yeah.
Because that could have been bad. But the hay is done
here
for now.
For the next year. Hopefully 2 years would be nice if we could get 2 years out of that hay.
I doubt it.
But I doubt it.
I doubt it. And the reason why is because we've been working on a lot of stuff. Why? Because Hope has now got all of the stuff. The stage is set for her to actually go purchase a horse.
Right. So she has been scouring the internet, Craigslist, Equine Now, DreamHorse.com. There's several.
That's a thing.
Yes. Yeah, actually, a gal at church told me about it today. DreamHorse.com. Yeah, it's a thing.
Mr. Dreamhorse, bring me a horse. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I'm sure she sings that every night. But
yeah.
So yeah, the stage is set. We have the hay. She's got her money all saved up. And now, granted, she doesn't have, thousands and thousands of dollars. She's got enough to get a mediocre horse, not one that's like $10,000. There's no way.
No Preakness dreams here.
No. Those are millions, I think.
Yeah.
But
when your horse has an indoor swimming pool, it might be worth a couple shekels.
A little bit, just a little bit. So
here and there.
But she's been saving for a couple of years. Well, what, a year and a half now?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the stage is set. So we've got the hay and the fence is done.
Fence is done.
Praise the Lord, the fence is
4
done.
strands of super hot electric.
High tinsel wire, and it'll
get you.
It's shocky.
It's shocky. Yeah, it'll get you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and throughout all of that too, we also ended up making we're going to start doing some rotational grazing for the milk cows and Puzzle. And so we had a solar charger, and since we weren't going to be using the step-in posts that were in that main field, I was like, well, let's put them out here in the back because we've got some alfalfa grass back in a smaller part.
Right.
And set it up, got it in there, and it's been great when you don't try to push your luck.
I kind of was rushing tonight, wanting to get chores done quickly, and I thought, oh, sure, the cows will follow me with a bucket of grain. One of them did.
They spotted better grass.
The other one, not so much. And this was Dottie. And I know you guys have asked how Dottie is. She's doing wonderfully because she's back to her old ornery self.
Yeah. There
are some days this cow...
Gonna put you in the grave.
Or the other way around. No. No, I love Dottie to death. She is just... Oh, man. She's strong-willed. She's got a mind of her own.
She's a strong-willed child.
She is the strong-willed child. And... So they started to follow me. I was like, oh, this is great. And Honey followed me all the way into the barn. Nope, Dottie not so much. She decided to wander off and eat some other grass that she found. Yeah. And
because the grass is always greener, right?
Yeah, right. And Caleb was actually really instrumental in getting Dottie back in the barn. He actually walked right over to her, grabbed her halter, and she walked right with him.
Yeah.
So I was really grateful for that. And then Honey went straight into the stanchion because she knew what time it was. It was time for grain, time to be milked. And then we're switching out the cows. And yeah, Dottie decided she was going to go back out the front door because the door was open.
And there's grass out there?
And there's grass out there.
Nice grass.
Yeah. So Hope ran after and got her.
So,
Dottie is a Jersey, and she is temperamental. Yeah,
she's most certainly.
Yeah, so that's funny. So Dottie's doing very well. Chuck, her baby, is doing very well as well.
I would appreciate it if you would refer to him with his
Mr. Norris
with his given name.
Sorry, Mr. Norris. Okay, fine,
yeah,
Mr. Norris.
There we go.
So he's doing really well. He's getting lots to eat. He doesn't have scours anymore, and so yeah, he's
We've got to jackhammer the poop off his butt, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's crusted, man.
It's so gross. It's all crusted to his tail, and I'm like scraping it off with one of those. They're a circle brush. It's like a metal band, basically, with teeth on it. And we use that to brush the cow's hair when their winter coat is coming out.
Yeah.
And so I was using that, and it was... Ugh.
So, rotational grazing engaged. Well, and here's part of the problem for us is that the bigger field, it's got a lot of goldenrod coming up in it, and the only creature that eats it is Puzzle, if he's in the mood.
Yeah.
And he's never in the mood
we're
that
much. We're going to probably have to... thank you, Dan. It's a curry comb. I never knew what that was called.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have to go out there and cut it.
Well, that ain't going to help.
No, but it'll keep it from growing. It'll cut the goldenrod down and keep it from growing.
It's just a big, gigantic yard we have to cut.
No, but the grass, the orchard grass and all those other grasses will grow up, and the goldenrod won't choke it out.
Well, we'll see. That didn't work last year. It didn't. That's what we tried to do. Yeah, it did not.
Okay.
Yeah. And furthermore, oh my gosh. Okay, this field, the people that had it before, they allowed other people to hay it. Well, I guess it got really wet, and then they
plowed it, and they plowed it the wrong way.
And then they just left it like that with the big humps.
They didn't flatten it at all, so it's very bumpy and
it's rough, and it's really, really hard to. I mean, even just cutting it, even in the nice tractor, is ridiculously. It beats the snot out of you, and you're out there for an hour and a half.
Yeah, yeah.
Even with the brush hog, it's going to be a challenge. But see, the thing is also that we got to try to figure out how do we get the field nice and flat and still be able to use it.
Right. I think we're going to have to, in the fall, plow it over and let that... I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but...
That's probably how we're going to have to do it, I would think.
And reseed it, which
I don't know. Anybody want to come tear this field up for us?
Yeah, right.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
So, okay, who's having fun with gas prices? Having fun? Yeah.
No.
Elections have consequences, don't they? So, who's got the highest gas prices here? I know there's some people here from California, so we won't be able to beat them, but ours was $4.79. What's your gas price? $4.79. Can you imagine that?
No, I can't imagine it. That's reality right now. I can't. I'm boggled because of how far it has come up in not even 2 years.
Fast.
It was before the election was $2, about $2.
$4.89, $4.69, $4.99. Okay.
Yeah,
Tanya.
I've looked at Greg Judy before.
$6.50.
Yowza.
Whoa, where are you at, generational? If you can even say the state area.
Yeah.
$6.50. Wow.
$5.20 in New Hampshire.
That's the highest I've seen there, guys. I'll tell you what, though, and I don't like saying stuff like this unless I feel very confident that well, let me rephrase. If you can put fuel aside, I know gas goes bad, so you're not going to want to keep it long term. But if you can keep fuel, Southern Colorado, ouch, yeah. If you can put some stuff away, I would. There are people that are, industry folk that I watch that are talking near $9 a gallon. So that basically would shut everything down around us. I don't know what that would do for you guys, but
yeah, that would eliminate going anywhere for us.
yeah, we just wouldn't leave.
No.
You know?
Nope.
And that DEF that they put in the diesel fuel, or that the diesel engines need, that's a big deal too. It's going up like crazy.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, all right, time for everyone's favorite deep thoughts. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, what did you learn this week? See, we're going to tell you what we learned this week. You got to type. Crazy Prepper Linda, you got to tell us, what did you learn this week? Where family, Tim, Jake, everybody, what did you learn this week? Start typing now. And Mama, what did you learn this week?
I really, really despise building fence.
Building fence?
Yes.
Well,
yeah, he is all cut up. I mean, really the wire is just
all over.
Insane, and it's so heavy, and oh my goodness. And we have built many fences, not just here, but in other places where we've been, and I am so done building fence. I told Brad, this is the last fence we're going to build.
Fence.
Done.
Fence is best.
Yes, done.
Fence is best. Channeling my inner Brutus.
Yeah. I learned if a cow doesn't want to get in the trailer, she won't.
Mackenzie.
You're right. You are right.
That is true.
It doesn't matter how much grain or enticing that you do, the cow's just not going to go in the trailer. Oh,
glad
heavens.
I have a bike. That's nice.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are huge this year. They oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Half of these bumps I got are from mosquitoes.
Yeah, he got eaten up. We have to just not go outside after 6:30 because it's insane. And there was not too long ago where they were out in the middle of the day and just swarming everywhere. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Felicia says, I drive a semi, and the owners of the company said they'd have to close the doors if it gets much worse on fuel prices. Yeah. Buckle up, people.
Yeah, a friend of ours is a truck driver, and it cost him almost $1,000 to fill up his semi.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah.
And it's not one of those coast-to-coast ones either.
No, it's just regional. And yeah.
So, okay, Reagan says, I got my PhD post-hole digging degree from building fence.
Yeah, no, thankfully we didn't do post holes, but we did Brad pounded T-posts, and Caleb and Hope helped a little bit.
Wow.
But, yikes.
Wow.
Yikes.
So, what I learned, mine was a little bit different, completely different than what you guys are going through, is that I learned that I really miss listening to records from end to end. Don't you guys remember when you would get a record home and it was like, I want to listen to this music, and you would sit down and you put the record player on and that's what you did. You didn't do listening to this while I'm doing this and then 4 other things. That was what you did. And Christa got me a CD of a band that I liked from when we were in our early 20s, and I just loved this record, and I realized that I didn't have it, and I was like, holy smokes, I can't believe I don't have it.
I was surprised you didn't have it, because I know we bought it ages ago.
I'm sure I've had 4.
Yeah, that's most likely.
But I just put the record on, and I chilled out, and I just listened to it, and I just was really enjoying it. And honestly, because music, here's the thing. You guys out here, you'll appreciate this, especially Tim. What was the very first record you bought with your own money? With your own money as a kid? It can be a cassette if you're a little younger than us, or
older than us, or
no, younger or older.
Yeah.
No.
We had cassettes
or CDs, whatever it was.
8-track.
whatever it is. What was the very first one, whether it was a record or an 8-track or a cassette or a CD? What was the first one you paid for with your own money? Do you remember yours?
Yes.
Carman.
No, this was pre-Christian music.
Oh.
I had, what was the Def Leppard?
Yes, Delaney B.
Def Leppard.
Pyromania?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had that one.
Pre-Christian days.
Yes, pre-Christian days.
Yeah. Mine was Journey Escape.
I don't know that one. I mean, I know Journey.
One day love will find.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
See, he's the musician, and
New Kids on the Block, Erica.
Awesome.
You get cool points, not for New Kids, but you get cool points for admitting it.
Yeah, right.
You get cool points for admitting it. Kenny Rogers, the Gambler.
Nice.
All right, you got
Soundtrack
to know when
to Grease.
to hold 'em. Grease, you love that.
Oh no, not really. But
Master
I will
of Puppets.
say, Debbie, I'm with you. I love the Monkees.
Jake,
Love the Monkees.
Dark Side. I was just I know it's not on Dark Side, but I may or may not have been listening to Shine On You Crazy Diamond just before this.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
That's
that on
funny.
vinyl.
Metallica.
Master of Puppets.
8-track. The Cars. Let's go. Awesome. I did have Dark Side of the Moon as well. Those were the two cassettes I had.
Well, anyway, that's what I learned, or rather remembered. Rubber Soul, the Beatles. I have that on vinyl too. That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I know I didn't learn that. I remember missing that music is a big part of my life, and it seems like it's only the other thing that you do if you listen to music at all anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I play the radio now.
Yeah.
I don't usually listen to too much music except if it's on the radio.
The Kingsman Quartet. There you go. Live.
Nice.
All right. You know, we actually had a what was that car? That first car that we got. That big, like,
Oh, it was a Buick
boat.
It was a humongous boat that you could fit 5 people in the trunk.
It had
It
an
was-
8-track player in it,
Yes.
and then somebody left an 8-track in the glove
I don't
compartment.
remember what it was, though.
It was like Teddy Pendergrass or something like that.
I don't know. But this car was massive.
It was big.
Yeah, it was massive.
You should tell them about the exhaust. It was great.
That was your car.
The
1980
Sunbird.
Sunbird.
No.
Yes, it was a Sunbird.
Yeah.
It was his car, and okay, I'll tell.
You're going there?
I'm going there. I don't
I
care.
was just gonna tease you. I wasn't gonna actually think you'd do it.
No, okay. So I was learning to drive in his car, and
I was not with her.
yes, you were.
Oh yes, I was.
Yes, you
That's
were.
right. I'm thinking
We
of two
went and
different
got
things.
gas,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Let me drive." Well, let me drive. So I drove, and then we're like, "Well, let's get a car wash." I drove into the car wash,
She didn't really
Crooked.
get in the middle of the.
crooked, and it ripped the whole exhaust system out.
She freaked out, hit the gas because it wasn't going anywhere.
Right. So, my parents lived in a neighborhood,
Hoity-toity.
gated neighborhood.
Oh
And-
yes, with a guard.
And guard at the gate. And my parents were not wealthy.
And they
by
didn't
any
like
means.
me.
No, my parents were not wealthy by any means, but they did want to put on airs that they were. So they lived in the hoity-toity neighborhood. It was a golfing community. And you
It sounded like an airplane.
You could hear him coming a mile
It
away.
had no exhaust. It was like
It was so loud.
It sounded like a pod racer from that Star Wars reboot.
And then my parents wouldn't let him park in the driveway because it leaked oil.
So they
So
made
he
me
had
park
parked-
around the corner.
I park around the back
Oh my
in a
gosh.
cul-de-sac behind the house.
Yeah.
It was epic.
I loved you so much that I tolerated them.
He didn't. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't like Brad.
Well,
So anyway,
that's a whole nother
story that I'm not going to get into.
Probably never will.
Nope.
Not online.
Nope. Not online. Nope. If you know us personally, then you probably know the story.
Whoops, that's not supposed to go up there. That's the wrong thing. We want to get. It's time for some good news.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some good. You guys ready for some good news? Please?
Yeah.
That's when the crowd goes wild.
Woo!
I don't know why. That's not even a slide that's even current anymore. Had an accident inside a car wash.
Oh.
Oh my gracious. All right. We are sick to death of the bad news, so we're finding good news for you guys. We have an affinity for Paul Harvey, and therefore we're going to do our best to try and emulate. So who is odd and who is even, my babes?
I am even tonight. You, my dear, are always odd.
Am I odd?
Yes, you are.
So the way this works is the more that you interact, the more we get into it, and the more we push to give you the best delivery of these stories. And let's just say 4 of these are pretty dang impressive. I got to be honest. 4 of them are like just interest stories. Like this first one, it's just an interesting story. Okay, to be honest.
Yeah.
So here it comes. I can show you this because you won't even know what it is. Here we go. More than a third of the world's populations lives in dry lands, areas that experience significant water shortages. Now scientists have developed a solution that could help people in these areas access clean drinking water. A team at the University of Texas at Austin developed a low-cost gel film made of abundant materials that can pull water directly out of the air, even in the driest climates. The materials that facilitate this reaction cost a mere $2 per kilogram. So I don't know what the conversion on that would be. $2 a kilogram.
Well, a kilogram is a weight.
No, I know. I just don't know how much.
I can look.
Okay, $2 a kilogram. And a single kilogram can produce more than 1.5 gallons of water per day in areas with less than 15% relative humidity.
1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds.
Okay, cool. All right. So research builds on previous breakthroughs from the team, including the availability or the ability to pull out water out of the atmosphere and the application of that technology to create self-watering soil. However, these technologies were designed for relatively high humidity environments. This new work is about practical solutions that people can use to get water in the hottest, driest places on Earth. That's cool. Attempts to pull water out of desert air typically are energy intensive and do not produce much. Although 6 liters of water doesn't sound like much, the researchers say that they're creating thicker films or more absorbent beds or arrays with optimization that could drastically increase the amount of water that they can yield. The film is flexible and can be molded into various and variety of shapes and sizes depending on the need of the user. Making the film requires only the gel precursor, which includes all of the relevant ingredients that are poured into a mold. The gel takes 2 minutes to simply set. Then it just needs to be freeze-dried, and it can be peeled off the mold and used immediately after that, says some person with a really complicated name. Doctoral student on the team and lead researcher of the work. Cool.
It is really cool. So these people are moisture farmers?
Aha! Star Wars.
Yes.
Star Wars.
Yeah, moisture farmers.
So, Jaton, yes, the water is safe to drink. It's pure.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
That the applications for that are insane. I mean,
oh yeah.
Especially if folks that live in Las Vegas, they know all of that water is literally shipped to them.
Yeah.
All of those pools, all of that stuff, and all those casinos.
That's insane.
It's all literally
Shipped in.
canal.
That's crazy.
How cool would that be if they could get a lot of that out of the air?
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know if I could live in a dry, arid place.
In an arid place?
Yes, I don't know because, and of course, I'm not a huge fan of mud, but I'd rather probably live where there's mud when there is, instead of just everything is dust. So.
Yeah, I'd prefer mud over dust.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, very cool.
That is really cool.
This is super cool, too.
This is really cool. I was surprised at this. Excuse me. When a woman recently found a lump in the cushion of a chair she had received for free on Craigslist, she thought it was a heating pad someone had put with a bad back had stuffed into it. But when Vicky Omudu from Colton, California, unzipped the cover, she pulled out dozens of envelopes of cold, hard cash.
Bam!
Wow.
Yahtzee!
She yelled, "We've got to call the guy," to her son, and quickly returned every cent, saying it never once occurred to her to even keep even $1. An ABC local news affiliate reached out to the vendor and his family, who said they were getting rid of the chair and matching sofa after the death of a loved one. The money totaled $36,000.
Jenga.
Yeah, which the family was believed to be hidden away by the deceased as part of a saving strategy, and that there could be more dough in unseen places. Mrs. Omudu was given $2,200 as a reward for her good deed, money she'll use to buy a new refrigerator. God has been kind to me and my children, Omudu told reporters. They are all alive and well. I have 3 beautiful grandchildren. So what can I ever ask of God?
How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Nice.
My grandparents did that. They hid money everywhere. Well, they were adults during the Depression, and my grandparents left notes. Go to South Wall, left side cabinet, see what. And my grandpa had Folgers cans full of cash.
Wow.
It was
the bank.
Crazy. That was the bank.
That was the bank.
Yeah.
I remember when my dad, or my granddad, passed, and they would find $100 bills in all his suits, like sewn into them.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh.
Just walking around money.
We should really probably take stock in the way people did things.
You think?
100 years ago.
It's coming to a theater near you.
Right? I mean.
You think?
Don't trust the banks.
Oh.
Oops.
The digital dollar is being created right now, folks. Did you know that? Legislation is moving forward to create a digital dollar to get rid of cold hard cash. It's going to take a while, but they've started it. Goodness. All right. This is an insanely cool story. That lady right there. Betty Tisdale has a special spot in her heart for veterans, especially Vietnam vets. She read a book that changed her life by a renowned Navy doctor, Tom Dooley, entitled Deliver Us from Evil. She was so moved by the doctor's work for the children of Vietnam that she took charge of an An-Lac orphanage in Saigon after Dooley's untimely death from cancer at age 34. I decided that An-Lac was not going to die. She sustained it for 14 years until the fall of Saigon in 1975, when she rushed together an Army airlift of 219 babies out of Vietnam into adopted homes in the U.S.
Wow.
Tisdale reveres soldiers. I can't begin to tell you what they did. They were so wonderful. The 121st Signal Battalion, the 1st Infantry Division, was stationed at the large air base a few miles from the annex housing and the older orphans of On Loch. The men adopted the orphanage and took care of the kids, building indoor toilets, showers, and doing maintenance. They even cooked a real Thanksgiving meal for hundreds of children, serving turkey, mashed potatoes, and peas instead of rice, which they ate all the time. But Betty will never forget the Christmas of 1966. A poor rural village 20 miles from Saigon, the 121st decided to surprise the orphans with a Christmas party. The GIs wrote letters to their wives, sisters, and girlfriends back home and asked them to mail gifts for the children. On Christmas Day, the battalion arrived in trucks piled high with hundreds of brightly wrapped gifts and melting ice cream. Betty and the group heard the whirl of a helicopter overhead and looked up. This sound meant our guys were flying off into combat, and that sound was not a happy one for us. But this time, the helicopter landed in a field across from the orphanage, and walking toward us, waving to the children, in full regalia and beard in 110-degree stifling heat, was the first Santa Claus any of the children had ever seen.
That might be scary.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially there. What is this?
What is this thing?
A three-piece orchestra played silver bells. The children soon joined in with jingle bells, as Betty had taught them. Later, they sang Auld Lang Syne in Vietnamese. There wasn't a dry eye in any of the audience. Major Bill Hillsman, now General, Sergeant Ken Diebel, and Lieutenant Bob Fisher put it all together. Betty remembers rows and rows of children, almost 400, lined up to receive presents. They faced the soldiers, all ranks and ages, sitting on top of the steps with piles of gifts stacked up. As each child came up to receive their gift, they put their hands across their chest and said, "Come on," which is thank you. That's when Betty looked up and saw a sight she'll never forget. Soldiers standing around the circumference of the annex flat roof, guns ready to protect the children and staff and volunteers from snipers. We owe our lives, excuse me. Mm-hmm. We owe our lives to this wonderful group of soldiers. 20 years later, in 1995, when Tisdale returned to find the children that were left behind, she had a reunion with 60 of them, now grown. The first thing Betty did was sing Jingle Bells to show them they had not forgotten their Betty. During a visit to Vietnam in March 2002, Tisdale, who created a nonprofit organization called HALO, Helping and Loving Orphans, learned that nearly 50 homeless children in the area could be housed at the Quan Nong orphanage if $34,000 could be raised to build an annex. She vowed to help, and 5 months later, she cut the ribbon on a beautiful new building. Each room is big and airy and has a bathroom connected with a sink, shower, and a toilet. To see what $34,000 can build is amazing. A plaque in both English and Vietnamese reads, "In memory of Dr. Tom Dooley, who loved the children of Vietnam."
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. We need more humans like that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. So how can I go after that? That was an amazing story.
Well, it is an amazing story. Well, keep the good news coming.
Yeah. One autumn in another century, there was no room at the inn. That is, there was no room at the Central Hotel. And that was bad news for Sam Hill. Sam was a paint salesman from Beloit, Wisconsin. He was a passer-through in Boscobel, Wisconsin. Hotel owner John Church said he was sorry, but it was a busy season, and there was likely no place in town that Sam could stay. Sam said, okay, he figured he would just move on. But then the innkeeper said, wait just a minute, there's another traveling salesman staying at the Central, a regular customer named John Nicholson. Just maybe, just this once, John might not mind sharing his room with a colleague in need. So Sam Hill was taken up to room 19. The hotel man introduced the two salesmen. They shook hands. Sam's predicament was explained. John said, fine, Sam could stay with him the night. Fortunately, there were 2 beds. Fortunately, neither fella would bother the other. The innkeeper left, and that might have been that, except for what happened next. Sam Hill laid down on his bed, hands behind his head. Twilight gently spilled into the room. Sam looked over at John, who were not knowing he was observed, lifting something small and black from his suitcase. There was a Bible. Sam asked, what was John selling? John answered, paper products. Sam asked, what was John doing with the Bible? And John answered that he was a Christian and he always kept his Bible close by. Sam said that was a coincidence because he was a Christian too. I don't think it was a coincidence.
No coincidence.
No. He had a Bible in his own suitcase. John said he was about to have his evening devotions. Would Sam care to join him? Sam said he would like that very much. So the 2 salesmen opened their Bibles, they read aloud to each other, and then prayed together. And afterward, they both lay awakened in their beds, talking. Darkness had fallen. The street below their window was quiet now, except for the soft rippling of the Wisconsin River, currently in a long flume nearby. Their conversation lasted hours into the night, but before both had fallen asleep, an idea was born. How wonderful, they both remarked, was the comfort of their Christian fellowship in the midst of lonely travel, and they grew determined somehow to extend this same comfort to travelers everywhere. A few months later, John and Sam met a man named Will Knights from John's hometown, Jamesville, and the 3 of them agreed. All 3 knelt together in prayer, committing themselves to the establishment of an association for Christian traveling men. They would name their new association after a man who had led small numbers against impossible odds to victory. John Nicholson and Sam Hill and Will Knights thus dedicated themselves 94 years ago. The organization they founded is thriving still, supplying a trenchant world with the Word of God, distributing 1 million Bibles every 15 days through 85,000 workers in 134 countries. Oh yes, you've seen their Bibles in hotel rooms and in hospitals, in schools and military installations and prisons also. Now you've relived that night in the fall of 98 when Sam and John got together because there was no room in the inn, and there ignited the spark that became the flame called the Gideons.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I did not know the backstory on that. That was really, really cool.
We actually should know.
Yeah, we should.
There's a person that came to try to
convert. No.
Recruit. Yeah, recruit me into to helping them out. And I have no problem. I'm totally about what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that there's a serious commitment involved that I could not commit to. So,
yeah.
But I salute them, and they're in Wisconsin, so they can get their own culvers anytime they want.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, pretty cool. All right, Mom. Shameless plug time.
Shameless plug time. Okay, you guys know this is what we do. This is how we make money. It's
not really.
It's a way for us to share the things that we really like. On our website, bigfamilyhomestead.com, all of our stuff is on sale.
We decided to put everything on
sale.
Everything.
So our cookbooks and our ointments and our lip balms are all on sale. The ointments and lip balms are $1 off, and the cookbooks are $2 off.
Hand creams and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean by the ointments. Yeah. So there's no coupon code. I'm
It's
not
just
sure
that.
how long it's going to be that way. We
We'll
may
see.
just leave it that way for, no, I don't know.
I don't think we'll
Couple
leave
weeks.
it for more than a week or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that, and also for those of you who are patrons, we really are grateful because it does take a lot of time and effort and money to put this kind of content together and to pull it off. I mean, things like microphones are not free, and even having things transcribed because I can't type. It all costs electricity and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So if you are a patron, thank you. If you're not, please consider it. But if not, and you just need some hand cream and want to help out, that helps out greatly too.
Yep.
So how about that for the
Shameless
shortest
plug.
shameless plug you ever heard?
Ever. Yeah.
Okay. Is it my turn now? Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. Parker McComas had enough. Mr. McComas, as president of the company, was responsible for the tough decisions, the final decisions. On this particular project, the sponsorship of a television show, the decision would have to be a no. The company had put too much money into the thing already, and now was the time to pull the plug. Get the show off the air before stockholders started screaming. This was not merely an objective calculation on Mr. McComas' part. He hated the program himself. He was surprised how much he disliked it after seeing it at home on a television. So, Mr. McComas called his ad agency and got Terry Klein on the horn. He said, what'll it cost me to dump this loser? Klein said, why do you want to dump it? Mr. McComas said, because it's unfunny, it's silly, it's totally boring. Klein said, well, what about... Klein said, well, what Terry Klein said is the rest of what you do not yet know. Actually, this project had seemed to be doomed from the start. The network had refused to cough up enough cash to put it on the air. No sponsor would contribute enough cash to carry the whole weight of it, so an independent company was to be formed to take up the slack. That should have been the first clue, but they went into production anyway. Quickly soaring 3 times, 4 times, 5 times over budget.
Oh my.
Every executive involved in the project was incredulous. Some were actually betting money that the show would lose $500,000 a year. But it now didn't appear as though that they'd make it that far. Its network debut was further threatened by poor clearance. Was scheduled opposite a top-rated program. That night, the cast gathered at Mark Daniel Laurel's Canyon home to watch their hard work on television. The film quality was terrible. The pace was more like a stage play than a sitcom. Everyone, except for the sounds coming from the TV set, the silence felt like an anvil fell in the room.
Oh no.
Nobody laughed. Nobody even smiled. And after the grinding agony of the half hour was over, everybody departed without a word and went home to bed. The next day, the sponsor got busy looking for loopholes for some way to get out of this awful, awful mistake. So here we have a company president, Mr. O. Parker McComas, on the telephone behind a big desk. He's telling his ad agency the party is over, but Terry Klein, the ad agency vice president, begged. Nobody remembers exactly why, but he begged. He begged Mr. McComas not to pull the fledgling series. Give it just one more airing, he pleaded. And if you still feel this way, then the show is gone. One more airing. And for some reason that nobody can recall, Mr. McComas listened and agreed to one more airing. And because he did, television history was made. And a world of laughter was considerably more tolerable place for that show's shaky start. It was, well, the timing is wrong here now. It was 39 years ago to this very day, but the debut was October 15th, 1951. Unexpectedly became the first of a great many, adored by a legion of local viewers, and even to this day. For, you see, even though in the beginning no one seemed to care and wanted it to be gone, the whole world quickly became to love Lucy. Now you know all the rest.
It's awesome. I love that show. I love Lucy.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. It's 71 years now.
Yeah, this was obviously
older.
aired
a
little bit.
But wow. 71 years ago.
Holy
that
mackerel.
show started on TV.
Can you believe that?
Gosh.
I can still envision in my mind that scene where she's in that, I don't even know, the candy making factory.
Chocolate factory, yeah.
And it just keeps coming. It keeps coming.
And she can't keep
up. So she starts eating them. That's still funny today.
Her and Ethel, holy smokes. They're
What's your
perfect.
favorite I Love Lucy moment?
Oh, yeah.
Lucy, I'm home.
Oh, my goodness. I loved the singing. I loved all of it. It's really cool.
What was that? What was that show? Oh, it was a movie called Rat Race. Remember that? And I guess there are I Love Lucy conventions.
Yes.
Where everybody dresses up like that.
Yeah, dresses like Lucy or Ricky or.
That's really funny.
It's like
Stomping the Grapes. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yes. Oh, what is it? Anyway, I don't
know. Good news.
Yeah. It's awesome.
All right. Candy Factory. Heck yeah.
Delaney's seen every episode.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness. Reruns, I'm sure. I watched the reruns because I wasn't born in the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay. This story was odd to me. The beginning part. So
you paraphrase it however you need to.
No, I just thought it was. Well, we can get to that.
Well, it's overall good news.
It is a good news story.
It doesn't start out good.
No. 1 week after the Segway firm's owner died while riding one of the two-wheeled transporters, he was scheduled to be honored for providing 1,000 Segways to wounded American troops.
Boom.
Jimmy Hesselden's generous gift was scheduled to be announced this week. Well, not this week, but recently at a Segs for Vets presentation ceremony at the Marine Corps War Memorial in Washington, D.C. We were looking forward to thanking Jimmy in person and are pained that he will not be able to do so, said Jerry Carr, president of the Disabled Rights Advocates for Technology, meaning DRAFT. The DRAFT organization sponsors the Segs for Vets program, which donates Segways to injured military veterans, helping them become mobile beyond what a wheelchair can provide.
That's cool.
That is really cool. Jimmy's personal gift means that Segs for Vets will triple the number of recipients over the next few years and move closer to their dream of a device for every disabled vet who needs one. The program has presented more than 500 Segways to wounded warriors since 2005. The Segway they've been making Segways that long?
Yeah.
Wow. The Segway, it has literally transformed their lives, offering unprecedented mobility. Now they can keep up with their families on vacations, at the park, and in the mall. It allows them to stand tall, look at people in the eye, and fulfill dreams despite their disabilities. The founding members of DRAFT discover that the Segway as a mobility device was, for some disabled people, easier to use and more adaptable in varied environments than a wheelchair with its limitations. The device has found a loyal following among the disabled, even though it is not considered a medical device under federal law.
That is cool.
That is really cool.
Generosity wins.
Yeah.
Generosity wins, man.
Yeah.
All right. To another time. Right? Here we go. An addiction was sweeping the land. It was a plague which, if unabated, could crush the country. The military appeared to be hardest hit. At least the effects of the habit were most disastrous among the men defending the nation. For should they be less alert, their land would be less than free. And so it was that the weight of this ponderous problem fell on the shoulders of King James II. The country was at war. Should the arrows of the archers of the king not fly true, his subjects may soon be slaves. It was not enough to discourage this addiction by word, the king decided. He must abolish it by law. But could such a prohibition be enacted effectively? 6 years before James II was born, his own father, James I, had witnessed a similar act of Parliament, and it had worked only for a while. It had not cured the disease, and otherwise there was no precedent anywhere for such legislation, successful or not. And so, there on his throne sat King James II, not knowing what must be done without knowing exactly how to do it. The mission of James I was to create a powerful crown, and yet he was killed before the dream was fulfilled. James II took up where his father had left off. Not yet 19, he was fully established in his authority and set his own policies. To the powerful and independent land-holding companies, he sent a message that divided, they would all perish at the hands of the enemies from without, that under one ruler only could their nation be truly united. Indeed, there were castles within borders, and there had been overtaken by invaders and were being used right now as outposts. From the edges of the kingdom, the first dominoes had already fallen, and the country were to be secure again. Priorities must change. In 1456, James II offered a military strike on his enemies, and yet while his people appeared unified in that cause, there was this awful addiction that threatened them all. Even in the very military ranks, a habit so preoccupied it, so distracted his own army and his archers, they couldn't even shoot straight. So, the following year, with a battle still raging, the king beseeched a parliament to enact a law forbidding that habit and acknowledging the desperation of their situation. Parliament complied. James II, even as he lived, was known as Fiery Face. That was kind of prophetic when you really think about it. For at the age of 29, while inspecting a cannon prior to the assault on Roxburgh Castle, he was blown to smithereens by a defective artillery piece.
Oh, my.
And once again, the dream had outlived a king. Historians ponder the relevance of the rule of James II of Scotland even to this day. And I bet from this day forward you will remember him. You will remember James II because of the law he inspired, a law which he insisted upon for the sake of the salvation of Scotland, legislation designed to eradicate a dangerous distraction. He was sure that this law would end then and thereafter this seductive obsession, an obsession called golf.
About halfway through the story, I kind of
I
skipped down just
you
to
skipped
see.
Down. What in the world?
And
golf.
Really, this is
golf.
All of this.
All of that
in 1456 was over golf.
And Scotland is known as the home.
Really?
Homeland. That's where all went down.
That cracks me up.
That is really a funny. Well, I'll tell you what, though, folks. It's some people who get addicted to golf. It is an obsession.
Nutty.
I have never had that occupation. I just don't.
You can count on one hand the amount of times you have almost killed somebody by shooting or by hitting a golf ball.
I've gone golfing twice.
Only twice?
Twice.
Oh, I thought it was a little more than that, but
Nope.
okay.
The first time, the golf ball made a 90-degree turn and almost killed somebody, like you just said. But then the second time, actually, I dislocated my shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
That was when that was.
We were on. Oh, that's right.
The golf cart.
Yes, it was a golf cart incident.
Let's just say that the people we were with were a little rowdy.
Was it just the rowdiness, or was it?
It was the rowdiness, and I don't know what made me think that I should hold on to somebody else's golf cart, but they took off, and I went.
Mm-hmm.
I went horizontal with them.
Oh goodness! What? I don't. Okay. I don't understand what it is with men and playing around on golf carts.
Are you kidding? That's that's the only fun thing about it to me.
Well, our son-in-law
Oh yeah,
broke his thumb yesterday because of a golf cart. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I don't
gracious.
get the obsession, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. What a way to ruin a good cow pasture. Exactly, Meg. I mean, it's
There you go. Maybe they should let cows out onto the golf courses, and then it's just part of the hazards. If your ball lands there, that's where you got to hit it out.
in a cow pie. Oh, gross. That's nasty.
Tiger Woods.
No
He's really in it. He's in it thick this time.
It's worse than a sand pit.
Cow pies, I love it.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All righty, folks.
That's
This
funny.
last story.
It's really cool.
It's cool. There's really two parts to it, though.
Yeah.
But okay, here, go ahead.
Okay. Author Philip Van Doren Stern got the idea one winter morning in 1938 while he was shaving. He was shaving, and an entire story came in from beginning to end right there in front of the bathroom mirror. But Philip would not write the story down until a year later. And he would not try to sell the story until 4 more years had passed. And even nobody would buy it. He tried in interest magazines to publish in publishing. I'm sorry. He tried to interest magazines in publishing it. He was turned down by everything from the Saturday Evening Post to the local farm journals. Finally, a movie studio bought the story, which the author had entitled The Greatest Gift. RKO Radio Pictures purchased it properly at the suggestion of Cary Grant, by the way. Cary Grant thought the hero might be a suitable role for himself someday. And yet, try as they might, RKO screenwriters simply could not adapt the story to a movie-worthy script. So more years passed. RKO sold The Greatest Gift to another movie maker who had just organized a new company called Liberty Films. That producer-director's name, by the way, was Frank Capra.
Starting to sound familiar.
Mm-hmm. And under his loving guidance, Philip Stern's Little Christmas Story did grow into one of the most moving and heartwarming tales ever told. At each Christmas time, televiewers thrilled at the retelling of all American yarn, which Frank Capra re-entitled It's a Wonderful Life.
One of my favorites.
But this is what happened
That's only
next.
half.
This is
only
what's part
crazy.
of it. The motion picture It's a Wonderful Life is about a man named George Bailey on the brink of suicide, granted a unique opportunity to see what the world would have been like if he had never been born. It's a Wonderful Life has become a classic consistently listed by critics among the 10 greatest movies ever made, but it did not become an American cultural phenomenon until the mid-1970s.
So just pause. This was written in the 40s.
Well, the story written 38, the movie
Yeah.
was released in 46.
Just to give you an idea
Right.
of why this is a bizarre
Right.
thing.
And there's a reason for that. Aside from the intrinsic greatness for you see when It's a Wonderful Life first appeared in theaters December 1946. It received mixed reviews. It barely broke even at the box office, received not one Academy Award. Its less than spectacular reception was a tremendous disappointment to Frank Capra. It was so generally ignored over the following 3 decades in that 1974, when its copyright came up for renewal, somebody in the studio office forgot or didn't bother to go to the trouble of renewing the copyright.
Oh my God.
And that's how one of the 10 greatest motion pictures of all times slipped intrusively into what is called the public domain.
Meaning you don't got to pay for it.
Nope. And that's why America's undisputed favor at holiday movie became just that, because television stations could air it for free. And so they air it often, exposing it to millions. Experts guesstimate that the owners that they had they held the copyright It's a Wonderful Life would have been earning them conservatively $26 million a year. In addition to more than 1,200 radio and television stations airing it at least twice each year, there are 15 video companies selling the classic on cassette. Well, this was now it's on DVD. They're cranking out copies for what amounts to the wholesale cost of a blank tape.
Because they don't have to pay for it.
That's right. That's right. To paraphrase its original title, maybe it's the greatest gift of all, that we all get rich every Christmas at Christmas time in lots of ways, because we get to see and re-see It's a Wonderful Life just because somebody, maybe some bumbling guardian angel, failed to renew the copyright. By the way, had that whoever it was back there bothered to renew the copyright, it would have cost his employers a renewal fee of only $4.
Wow.
Yowza.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't get copyrighted, renewed.
Or didn't get renewed.
Didn't get renewed. That
Slips into public domain.
now it's
Public domain means you could you could record It's a Wonderful Life
and then sell it.
and sell it. You could. And there's no repercussion legally for that.
No, nothing anybody can do about it.
Yep.
It's a wonderful free life. Yes. Dr.
Can you
Who.
believe that?
Too funny.
Well, and side note, in the copyright world, because I have a publishing company for my own music and stuff that I do, so I know a little bit about it. That's why there's all these lobbyists and battles you find every so often, that the copyright holders and publishers are spending millions of dollars trying to get politicians to extend the life of copyrights for this kind of reason. But also, like the Beatles catalogs. Think about all this music that's the classic music that we've all grown up with. She Loves You, yeah. We know all of these things. They put them in movies all the time. They don't want to get those copyrights into the public domain, because then you could record it and they wouldn't get a penny.
Right.
So they keep trying to just stretch it out and stretch it out and stretch it out. Well, the bad side to that is not that you begrudge the publishers trying to make money, but what happens is that it makes the recording industry, they don't want to spend money on anything that sounds original. They just want to use what they already have, or they just prepackage and cram together formulaic, generic sounding stuff. You ever wonder why a lot of this music sounds very similar? That's why. Because they don't. Back in the day, they used to have what were called A&R agents, artist and repertoire. And what their job, this is actually kind of interesting. I know it has nothing to do with homesteading, so forgive me on that. But I love this stuff. So they used to have A&R agents, and their job was to go out into the world and find bands that they just loved. They would find bands and go, hey, record company, I got this band. They're called Boston, and they're going to change the way that everybody listens to music. They're going to be the biggest thing. And they would basically sell the record company, and then a lot of money would be exchanged. And that's how it went. Now the record companies don't do that. They basically say, we want something that sounds like Billie Eilish. Go make that. Not find that.
Go make that.
Create that. So they've got all these formulas now that they know, okay, if I do this, we'll sell X amount of this record. So it's really sad. Yeah. Sad thing is people can pirate music. Well, and it's getting crazy too. Here's a crazy example for you guys. I write these psalm songs. So straight out of the Bible, just it's a psalm and I write music to it, right? Okay. Somebody claimed that it was their song.
Yeah.
That my recording with my voice, me.
In this room.
Recorded right here.
Yeah.
Nothing illegal, just made it. And they claimed on YouTube that it was theirs. And therefore, YouTube goes, all right, it's their money. And took the earnings from it and gave it to them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Very annoying.
You guys, okay. I'm sorry. I could talk music till the cows come home. But you're going to maybe say that again and then...
Oh, sure. Just
maybe?
A reminder, the items on our website are on sale. The cookbooks are $2 off, and our ointments, our healing hands, and lip balm are $1 off. So.
And that definitely supports the channel.
Yeah.
And enables us to keep doing this. So that said, if you guys are unaware, surprise, we're Christians.
Yeah. I have to say hi to Tina, though.
Tina?
She's from Australia. Hi, Tina. I literally the other side of the world that's so cool that she's watching.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I got Tina and me, we're like that. Yeah. We're good. We're gold. we're bros. I figured that out. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna say a quick prayer. So if that's not your thing, we don't like to push anything on anybody. But hope you stick around. If not, see you back next Sunday night. So, Father God, please bless each and every one of these people here tonight. Just let them know that you love them. And really, that's it. Give them a big old hug. Tell them you love them. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Relatively painless, huh? Here comes one of them psalm songs. Have a great night.
Have a blessed night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
cry, oh God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. May he be enthroned, forever before God. Appoint steadfast love and faithfulness to watch over him, so I will ever sing praises to your name as I perform my vows day after day. Prolong the life of the King. May his years endure to all generations. Hear my cry, O God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. So will I ever sing praises to your name as I perform my vows day after day. Hear my cry, oh God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. Hear my cry, oh God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. Hear my cry, oh God. Listen to